Acá, tío. Estaba harto ya.
Hello, and welcome to Odds on La Liga Matchday 6. We are here because we have midweek games in La Liga, and Alvaro Romeo was telling me that he nailed an ACCA in La Liga. It was some pressure on you, Alvaro. Real Madrid to win and 𝗵𝗵 to score. Barcelona to win the second half. The safe bet was also correct. So cheers to Alvaro. Hello, how are you, Alvaro?
Very well, thank you. I think that leaked at the start of the show. Yeah, luckily we weren't saying anything outrageous. I was just speaking at the top of my mind. I think that it was a nice weekend of football. Many things happened. We will break it down now. And I got finally my ACCA right because, you know, this season a few teams have disappointed me, or maybe I have disappointed myself. But, you know, it looks like betting on Real Madrid and Barcelona is a safe bet more than ever this season. That's for sure. We spoke about that last week, and both won, I would say that comfortably, especially Barcelona. I was very impressed with their performance against Getafe. I think that they played so well, and they showed that they have such a good midfield, and the transition football they play, it's really, really vertical and attractive. And yeah, we are here ready for another midweek, the first midweek of the season. And there are a couple of really good games coming up as well.
Well, we have Real Madrid playing in Valencia against Levante, Barcelona playing in Oviedo, Atletico Madrid playing at home. So, guys, let's analyze everything in these midweek games in La Liga Matchday 6. Of course, as always, press the like, subscribe. Tell us your tips, ask any question to Alvaro. And now let's go on with the show. Some games, 4 games actually. On Tuesday, we start in Bilbao, Athletic Girona. I asked you last week, Alvaro, if you had doubts about this Athletic since it was back-to-back defeats without scoring a goal. Well, now it's 3 games without scoring, 3 games with defeats. Last one against Valencia. Luckily for Valverde's men, they are facing the worst team in La Liga. I'm talking about Girona. The defeat against Levante is a painful one. It's an ugly one, 4-0 at home against a newly promoted team. 15 goals conceded for Girona, and it's not something new, actually, because we've been talking about Girona. It's happening for many, many months, so it's really concerning.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking away any seriousness. I think that Girona is in a terrible condition right now. And it's strange to see how 3 teams that perform really well in the 23-24 season, they are in the relegation spots. I'm talking about Girona. I'm talking about Real Sociedad, who managed to play the last 16 round of the Champions League in the 23-24 season. And I'm talking about Mallorca, who reached the cup final that season as well. You know, 18 months later, the 3 of them are in relegation. Girona had a really tough one against Levante. They got 2 players sent off, by the way, Víctor Reis and 𝗔𝗓𝗍𝗔𝗓. And, you know, playing with 9 in those conditions they've got right now, it was inevitable that Levante got their win, and they got it. But yeah, it's very concerning for Girona. I've been saying for a while that Mitchell, the manager, has been sending out messages to the players in media. Probably he wants to spur them on, to make them better, to find the motivation from somewhere. But whatever he is passing across is not working. And they are playing against Athletic de Bilbao. And yeah, Athletic de Bilbao is not in a good moment either. I'm more worried about their problems to score rather than their defense. I think the defense is going to be nice. It's going to be good, despite Vivian not being available for this game because he was sent off against Valencia. Instead of him, Aymeric Laporte is going to start for the first time after many years away from Athletic de Bilbao. And I think that Athletic is the favorite for this game. I know that last season they were incredibly good. They lost only 6 games, and this season they have lost already 2 in La Liga, which is something that last season they weren't used to. But still, for this game alone, I'm going to back them. I know that Nico Williams is still not there and Athletic de Bilbao is missing him a lot. The problem is that they've got a short squad, and when an important player is not there, it becomes very obvious. But I think that Athletic de Bilbao has enough firepower and especially enough backbone to beat a team like Girona, because Athletic doesn't lose the composure. Athletic doesn't get broken into pieces as soon as they receive a goal. However, Girona does. So I'm going to back Athletic de Bilbao. The win is not enough for me. It's not enough money. So I'm going to go for an Asian handicap -1 for Athletic de Bilbao. 176. If they win by 1 goal, you don't win anything. You get your money back. If they win by 2, you win. So let's go for it. Asian handicap -1 for Athletic Club.
𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐻 is going for 2-0, correct score. 𝗀𝐻𝐿 is time for a home win, and I agree with Marco. I think Girona are going down this time. I think they are candidates together with Oviedo in this start of the season. I think are the two teams looking really bad, because I expect Real Sociedad or Mallorca to improve a little bit, although it's also concerning the form of these two teams. But Girona, indeed, they are looking really bad. Espanyol Valencia is the next game, and here, Alvaro, we have Espanyol. They've won all the games at home. Valencia, they've lost all the games away. But so it should be straightforward. I'm backing Espanyol, but of course, I know it's a bit more complicated than that. Actually, at the weekend, we saw a harmless Espanyol against Real Madrid, and we saw a good Valencia again at home. But actually, the waveform of Valencia is nothing new of this season. It's also coming from the previous season, where they struggled a lot away from Mestalla.
Yeah, no. I think that obviously Espanyol has been better than Valencia this season, but only 3 points better. Let's don't forget. I mean, 7 points to 10. The difference between these two is not that big. It's true that Espanyol started the league better, and Espanyol has played already against Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabéu. So one of those games in which they always lose is gone already. So time to look at the future. And they are welcoming Valencia, a Valencia team that recovered themselves after losing 6-0 at Barcelona. They were good against Athletic de Bilbao. Look, number one, they stayed competitive, which is something that Valencia is going to do this season a lot. I really think that the real Valencia is the Valencia that we've been watching from January 2025 on, not what happened 8 days ago at Johan Cruyff Stadium. I think that is the real Valencia. Let's see the big picture. Valencia generally have improved. I think that they are missing good players, but I think that they've got a good manager and enough to stay in La Liga and enough to be competitive in 25 out of 38 games. So whenever they play against big opposition, especially away, I think that they are going to lose. Sometimes they win, like last season they did against Santiago Bernabéu. But there are some positives that come from the game against Athletic de Bilbao. Number one, when Athletic de Bilbao was better, Athletic didn't create many chances because Valencia's defense worked well, to the point that Valencia left a clean sheet finally. And then when they saw the opportunity, they took it and they beat Athletic de Bilbao. Athletic was reduced to 10 men and Valencia took it. They got 7 points out of 15. It's not a disastrous start. Not at all. I've seen Valencia in worse positions. And Espanyol, yes, I think that the game at Santiago Bernabéu is an exception to the rule. I think that the real Espanyol is what we saw in the first 4 games of the season. I'm going to go for the following. I think that Espanyol is a slightly favorite, yes, but I can see Valencia as well staying competitive. I'm going to go for the over here, over 2 goals, because the bookies expect this game to be a low-scoring affair. I'm going to go for over 2 goals, 170. This is not my favorite game, personally, but over 2 goals can be a good one. I know that Valencia left a clean sheet for the first time last weekend. 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗀𝗏 did 6 saves, which is a good ratio, 6 saves, no goals conceded, but I think Valencia can concede as well. So over 2 goals, 170.
I agree also with the idea of a draw that 𝗀𝐻𝐿 or Marco are telling us. I think this could be easily a draw. 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐻 or Jay are going for Espanyol to win this game. Next one is Levante, Real Madrid. Perfect start for Xavi Alonso. They've won all the games in La Liga, 5 out of 5. Also the Champions League one. It's true that Real Madrid haven't been brilliant so far, but I heard so many criticism around Real Madrid, and I'm surprised because I think the team is not suffering. The team has been better than the opposition in all the games, and they are getting the points. Again, they have a problem perhaps in the creation of football. Perhaps there is an issue also a little bit concerning about Vinicius and the way he's playing, if he's angry or not. But good news also for Xavi Alonso, apart from the results, recovering 𝗂𝐵𝗏𝗀, recovering Bellingham, and now against this Levante that got themselves the first win of the season against Girona, and we saw them kind of competitive at home, Álvaro, against Betis or Barcelona, for instance. Remember, Barcelona suffered a lot to come back and win against Levante.
Well, to the point that Barcelona ended up winning with an own goal from Levante. Yes, but I think Real Madrid is the favorite. I think that, look, from what I have seen so far, I think that the best team in Spain is still Barcelona. I really do. But that doesn't matter, because if you are the best team in Spain, but your biggest opponent wins the game, at the end, this is going to be down to the head-to-head. And I think that we are heading towards that scenario. I didn't particularly love what Real Madrid did, but they were good enough. And while they are improving, while Xavi Alonso is testing his players, they are getting all the points. And this is priceless. This is priceless. This is all about. So Real Madrid, in that aspect, they are doing what they have to do. 3 clean sheets in 5 La Liga games, which is not bad. I think that this is one of the new identities of Real Madrid. The defense is good, and the defensive setup is good, starting by the great pressure that the strikers are putting. I think that this team is slightly more lively, than Ancelotti's last season, because Ancelotti 2 seasons ago had a super team. And also a little bit more formulaic. I think that the players are still adapting to a system that is not very rigid, but demands like more responsibilities from the players. You know, there is a constant that has happened this season. Kylian Mbappé is the top scorer, and Real Madrid has won all the games. So you know what I'm going to say, but this ACCA has been working for me very well. And even though I'm a little bit more reluctant to use it away, I'm going to use it, because at the end of the day, this is not only Real Madrid's top scorer, but he's also Real Madrid's penalty taker. I'm talking about Kylian Mbappé. So Real Madrid to win and Mbappé to score will be my favorite, where the value is, in my opinion, and I am more than happy to take that risk. I know that I am combining 2 possibilities, but they have happened so often that I'm not going to stop using this until it stops happening. So Real Madrid to win and Mbappé to score 2.28.
And take a look at Morales to score. He is always scoring against Real Madrid. Comandante Morales likes a lot to score against Los Blancos, and he did it against Barcelona, by the way. Mbappé, anytime scorer. 𝗂𝗏𝗏, Real Madrid to win and over 1.5 goals. Penchev also sees a high scoring affair. Here, Madrid to win and over 3.5 goals. Jay, I think it will be an under 3.5. All the games were tight except against Oviedo, and even against Oviedo actually was tight until the end of the game.
But you never believed that the opponent could draw. I think that it was a little bit fictionally tight. It was fictional. I think Real Madrid always felt superior, and you knew that they were going to win it, and they haven't had to resort to last-minute winners to win games.
No.
So normally Real Madrid has won kind of comfortably. Normally by the 60th minute, they were already administering an advantage. I think Real Madrid is going to write a very similar script here at Levante's ground.
And it's worth to mention, I think, Carreras, great signing for Real Madrid, one of the best players in this start of the season. We have a derby next Saturday. We have Atletico de Madrid, Real Madrid. So let's see if Los Blancos can win here and go with a perfect record to the Metropolitano before traveling to Almaty in the Champions League. And on Tuesday, we have a good game, actually, Sevilla Villarreal both won last weekend. Sevilla did it against Alaves away with Alexis Sanchez. I'm going to eat my words actually with Alexis Sanchez because he's having an impact on Sevilla. Sevilla still winless at the Sánchez Pizjuán, and Villarreal, Álvaro, suffered a lot to beat Osasuna. Your tips were 100% correct, actually, in that game, because even 𝗵𝐿𝐴 scored, and I was checking today, 𝗵𝐿𝐴 to score was 5.0.
Yeah.
So it was correct. And here we have Marcelino also back to Sevilla, by the way, and we have great odds for this game. Tough one, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to explain why I went for 𝗵𝐿𝐴 to score, because he easily could have not happened. But my logic there was that, you know, if you bring a player like 𝗵𝐿𝐴 who scored a lot of goals at Olympique Lyon, he's your most ever expensive signing. Normally, these players don't go 3 games scoreless, I think. So I'm happy that he scored. It's important for Villarreal to have a proper number 9 in there who is scoring the goals. And soon, I think that he will play with 𝗂𝐿𝐴 and they will make a really good partnership. But yeah, Villarreal got their win. Sevilla also. I don't know if the performance of Alexis Sanchez and 𝗵𝗵𝗫𝗀, 2 very veteran players, is going to be a sustained performance over the season. But we also spoke about this, and I said that the good thing for these 2 very veteran players is that there is no European football during the week. So therefore they can rest, they can regenerate their muscles and be ready for the next game. Sevilla won at Vitoria. It's difficult to beat Alaves in their ground. And they got 7 points out of 9 in the last 3 games, which is a really good turnout, in my opinion. One good thing about Sevilla is that the signings are playing. Good or not, it's a different story, but Suazo, Batista Mendy, 𝗵𝗵𝗫𝗀, Alexis Sanchez, Alphon, even 𝗂𝐿𝐴𝐵𝗲𝗲 who played the other day, are playing football. So this looks like a little bit like a new team. And the bad thing for Sevilla ahead of this game is that they haven't recorded any home win this season, and they haven't won back-to-back games in 2025, in the calendar year, in La Liga. Therefore, you know, it's difficult to back them, to believe in them, especially because they are playing against Villarreal, a team that has firepower and a decent defense. So I'm going to go for the following. I really think that this can be an affair with goals. I can see Sevilla scoring, with a player like Vargas, for example, being the assist provider. And I can see definitely Villarreal scoring because they do score. So both needs to score. And the money for that is 171.
Last season, Villarreal won the 2 games, actually, against Sevilla. Last 3 games between each other were won by Villarreal, and you said it. No back-to-back wins for Sevilla in 2 years, because last season they were able to record a back-to-back record. Draw for Moyoma, William Istelina, Sevilla looking better, but Villarreal should be stronger away. I agree. I think 4.5 cards is worth a try. Well, let's see also this thing of Villarreal playing every 3 days. Perhaps will pay at all sooner than later to the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, definitely.
Wednesday, Álvaro, Getafe, Alaves. Great start, I would say, for both teams. Both are, the goal is to fight against relegation, and they've recorded good points, actually, despite the defeats at the weekend. But Alaves, 7 points, Getafe, 9. Getafe beat Oviedo in their only home game this season, lost to Barcelona, as you mentioned before. And Alaves also with 7 points is a good start. Anyway, Álvaro, I think it looks good. The odds for Getafe or Getafe Asian handicap 0, perhaps, because this could be also easily a draw.
Yeah, I mean, those are, in fact, my first tips. A draw no bet for Getafe, I like it, 153. But I will go for an Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Getafe. If they draw, you suffer half a lose. If they win, you win, because that pays 195. And I believe in the assurances that Getafe gives me, especially against this type of teams. Alaves somehow does the same thing very well. Don't get me wrong. I think that Alaves, when they play against teams of their league, they know how to get the better of them. and therefore that's why they haven't been relegated over the last couple of seasons. But Getafe does that better. And against Barcelona, they were dominated by Barcelona. They were even physically outplayed because Barcelona was strong. But Getafe was competitive. That's the difference between some teams that play Barcelona and Real Madrid and Getafe playing Barcelona and Real Madrid. Getafe doesn't normally wave a white flag saying, I surrender, this is it. Even Bordalás, I know that he was thinking about this game, and in the second half, he brought 4 or 5 new players, but still, Getafe kept at least the shape, they kept the high pressure, and at some point, yeah, they made it difficult for Barcelona, not because they created many chances, but because they pressed very well. Up front, by the way. This is one of the things that gets unspoken about Bordalás. Their teams push high. They press up front, which is something that big teams do, even though Getafe then doesn't score as many goals as big teams. But anyway, all this to say that I believe that Getafe at home, they know how to negotiate this type of affairs. So I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap minus 0.25. Of course, I keep a little bit of a, cushion safety net for me with a minus 0.25, but I believe that they can win this game.
I didn't like the words of Ferran Torres after the game, actually, talking down about Getafe, saying that they don't propose anything. In my opinion, were really harsh against a low-budget team that they do what they can, actually, and they keep themselves really competitive in every La Liga game. And this is hard. We have Omoyoma or Penchev going for both teams to score in this game. On Wednesday, we have a capital derby. Atletico de Madrid, Rayo Vallecano. Atletico de Madrid already 9 points away from Real Madrid, only 1 win. This season is true that they deserve more. In Mallorca, they were better, but also Julian's form is a bit concerning. Sorloth got a red card. And next week, as I'm saying, or next Saturday, they are facing Real Madrid. So they must beat Rayo Vallecano with 5 points in this start of the season. Álvaro, Atletico de Madrid, looks like the season has started for them and is almost over, like last season, with so far away from the top of the table in La Liga with an easy schedule, actually.
Let's see how it goes. Yes, easy schedule, definitely. In La Liga, then in the Champions League against Liverpool, that's a different story. But what we saw on Sunday was, again, another example of Atletico not being able to kill off the games, with Julián Álvarez missing a penalty. The thing with Atletico de Madrid is that their defense is not as good as Real Madrid's, and their attack is not as good as Barcelona's. And, they're a little bit like they score lower points in every possible aspect. Atletico de Madrid is not better defensively than the best, is not better offensively than the best, and then in midfield they don't have the creativity of the other giants. So that puts them in an uncomfortable position because Barcelona and Real Madrid can negotiate easily the easy fixtures, and Atletico de Madrid cannot, so far at least. They have recorded 1 win though, and this has to be said, and it was against Villarreal, probably the second most difficult team that they have played this season after Liverpool, and they have recorded that win at home. That points me in the home win direction. I think that Atletico de Madrid is going to beat Rayo Vallecano. Rayo is not enjoying a great start either. They will be involved in European football this season, obviously. But I'm going to back Atletico de Madrid, despite them not having Julián Álvarez. Not having Sorloth, who was sent off. And despite Julián Álvarez's form, I'm not concerned about Julián Álvarez. I think that he's brilliant. I think that he's the best striker Atletico can have. But I also believe that he is ready to play 90 minutes. And he's got the energy to do that. And I don't understand why Atletico de Madrid and Simeone don't play Julián Álvarez for 90 minutes, because if he is on the pitch, he's the most dangerous man. And sometimes Julián Álvarez has been replaced when the game wasn't decided yet. I just don't get it. But here, talking about this game individually, Asian handicap -1 for Atletico is my favorite, 193. I really believe that Atletico are going to win this game in the fashion they did it against Villarreal too. It's not going to be easy because Rayo Vallecano represents a difficult opponent. They press very well. They don't let you breathe. Barcelona knows about that, but still, Atletico are going to win this game. I'm pretty sure about that. So Atletico to win 156. I'm going to keep this for my ACCA. Otherwise, Asian handicap -1 for Atletico. They have to win, and I believe that they will win this game.
Well, Julian didn't understand also why he was changed in the game against Mallorca, really concerning the form of Atletico de Madrid. They took the lead in every La Liga game, but they've only won one game. Penchef, Rayo Vallecano to score in the first half, both teams to score, and over 2.5 goals. This is a good combo in the game.
2-1 for Atletico.
Good 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏, actually. Yeah. Atletico to win for Jay, Bills both teams to score or not touching the game at all. Also, 𝗻𝐻𝐿 is staying away from Atletico de Madrid. Is not a bad idea. Actually, at this point, I'm looking forward to the derby, actually, on Saturday, Alvaro. Next game, two teams in trouble. Real Sociedad, Mallorca, two teams in the relegation spots. It's early days, but only 2 points for both of them. We were used to seeing Real Sociedad, especially in the European spots. We mentioned at the beginning of the season that it could be hard for them. They've lost so many quality players. We didn't know anything about the manager, Sergio Francisco, and only 2 points. So many mistakes against Betis. And, well, Mallorca had a tough schedule, Alvaro, facing Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico de Madrid in these first 6 games, but it's only 2 points also for them. The loser gets really in trouble, and I would say, especially if face Real Sociedad, be careful, be careful.
Yeah, Real Sociedad have started really poorly. I think that the expectations weren't very high, especially after losing 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗏. But I repeat again, I mean, this has to be said every now and then. 4 years ago, Real Sociedad, 5 years ago, they were playing with 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗏, Merino, Martin Odegaard, and Isak, right? I think that the 4 of them played together, even though 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗏 was very young. You know, where are those players now? You know, 3 of them are Arsenal's midfield, and the other one is the most expensive signing in Premier League history. They have lost these players, and they haven't done like an astonishing signing either, just to replace them. But anyway, I think that the midfield with Soler and Bryce Méndez is going to click and work at some point, and they are both scoring midfielders. And who knows, maybe it happens here. Maybe it happens here. But, you know, not until it happens, I will back Real Sociedad. I don't think that is my time to take a gamble with them. I don't know about the manager. True, Sergio Francisco is someone that nobody knows about. Same thing could have been applied to Imanol Alguacil a few years ago. But anyway, I'm not ready to back Real Sociedad. Mallorca has had a really poor start. Not 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, though, who has scored 4 goals. It has to be very frustrating for this striker, the Kosovarian striker, to score 4 goals and still play for a winless side. This is the kind of game in which Real Sociedad is going to play in the front foot, but that doesn't mean much at this stage. I don't know. I can see them maybe winning with a goal from Oyarzábal from the penalty spot, something like that. Who knows? But I think that this is going to be an under because Real Sociedad is struggling to score a lot, and Mallorca is not a scoring side apart from 𝗻𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and probably they will play for the draw here defensively. So this is going to be a defensive affair because Mallorca is going to create it this way. And Real Sociedad is not a team that finds it easy to score. So under 2.5 goals, 170.
Draw for 𝗻𝐻𝐿, both things to score for Jay. To be honest, watching Mallorca is not exciting at all in this La Liga. I think they might get safe, but they are going to be in the bottom part of the standings. Also, we've seen it in the last 2 seasons with Aguirre, and the following season also struggling a little bit. And for Thursday, we have 2 games. Remember that the Betis Celta, they played 2-3 weeks ago, and it was a draw since these teams are playing in the Europa League. That's why we have 1 game less in this match day 6 of La Liga. So on Thursday, only 2 games. Osasuna, Elche is the first one. Elche is the biggest surprise of the season in La Liga, together with Espanyol, probably 9 points, still undefeated, a newly promoted team. great start, especially beating the rivals you should beat, like Levante or like Oviedo, as they did at the weekend, and Osasuna. 6 points, all the wins came at home against Rayo and Valencia. I don't know if you still trust Elche, Alvaro. If you do, there are great odds to back them somehow in Pamplona.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this game because, number one, Osasuna at home has been good. And number two, Elche right now looks like a better side. And, if you believe in Elche, the money for them to win is great. It's brilliant. I mean, and probably it doesn't reflect where they are on the table. Elche to win pays 475, right? If you are very ambitious and you have some spare money to take a risk, I mean, I guess that is a risk worth taking. But, my approach to betting is slightly different. I believe that things can happen. Look at Girona, for example, the other day, just having 2 players sent off, stuff like that, okay? I'm not particularly brave aside from Real Madrid and Barcelona at this stage, because we still have to see how the teams pan out and all that. And Real Madrid and Barcelona give me the assurances that other teams don't, and they have even won in the Champions League. So I come into this game and I look at Elche and I see a team that, for example, is unbeaten, like Real Madrid or Barcelona, has 2 strikers that are scoring goals, and they are quite physical, imposing strikers, like André da Silva and Rafa Mir. Then they left a clean sheet the other day with a good goalkeeper, by the way, 𝗵𝐿𝐴, who played like 1/3 of last season for Barcelona. 𝗵𝐿𝐴 got a clean sheet. Good for him, good for Elche. And Elche is also a side that takes the ball away from you. This is very important. Osasuna can find this very frustrating. Look, if you check La Liga stats, between the first 12 players with more passes, 3 of them play for Elche. So Sarabia, the coach of Elche, in his first season in the top flight, hasn't changed the style, because how many times we have seen a team promoting or a promoted side playing very well in the second division and then playing differently in the first division, in the top flight. Elche hasn't done that. So they got a clear plan and it's working. However, they are playing against a Osasuna side that at home is decent, if not good. So I'm not going to back Elche with a win, but I'm going to back them with a double chance here. 188. Mm-hmm. I still believe that the money is good. If I lose, fine. I think that I'm going to win in other games. But the double chance for Elche sounds like something you have to think about.
Indeed, this is why I told you Penchef is going for Asian handicap +1. Even for Elche, the odds should be lower, around 1.5, but is safer. Indeed, draw is also possible. It's really possible, actually. The draw in this game. And the last game in this match day 6 in the Carlos Tartiere, Oviedo, Barcelona. I think Oviedo are going to suffer a lot this season. No news. Only 1 goal scored and 3 points, so they can be happy. But looking bad when you are losing the game against Elche, your direct rival, and now it's going to be very tough for Oviedo, Alvaro, because this Barcelona is looking great in the last weeks, even without Lamine Yamal. Who knows if the new Ballon d'Or, we will know on Monday, probably not, but still without him, some players are stepping up, like Rashford in Newcastle, like Ferran Torres in the last 2 games. The midfield is looking great. Perhaps Fermin is now injured, but still a lot of positives for Barcelona. And the best thing I guess you can say about this Barcelona is that it's as good as the one last year or last season.
Yeah, just very quickly on the Ballon d'Or, I'm slightly surprised that 𝗵𝐿𝐴 Kvaratskhelia hasn't had more hype and a little bit of a lobby for him. I mean, he won the league with Napoli, he moves to Paris in January, and 5 months later, Paris is winning the Champions League. I'm just saying, I don't think he's the best player in the world, but he should be in the conversation this year. However, Vitinha and Dembélé are the ones in the conversation, which is fair enough. I hope that Vitinha wins it. I think that this season Vitinha has been very good, and I will be happy if a midfielder wins it. That is everything I have to say about the Ballon d'Or. But yeah, Barcelona.
I don't like the trophy, actually. I don't like neither the trophy and everything involving the trophy. It is what it is.
Yeah, not that I care much either. But anyway, it's true that the last midfielder to win it maybe was Rodri, yeah, then Luka Modric, and then Pavel Nedved, right? So not so many midfielders have won it in the 21st century. It would be a good recognition to them. But yeah, Oviedo is a team that concedes a lot. Not only goals, but also their goalkeeper, Aaron Escandel, has had to do 27 saves already. 27 saves is a lot. It's a lot. And Barcelona, it's playing in the front foot. We know about that. I like what Hansi Flick is doing as well with the discipline, the inside discipline of the team. The other day, Marcus Rashford wasn't in the lineup because he turned up late to whatever the training or the meeting point or whatever. I like that thing that Hansi Flick is doing, keeping all the players alert. Ferran Torres is scoring goals. He's the second best scorer in La Liga so far. Dani Olmo finally played really well the other day, scoring a goal, but also providing a beautiful assist. And then Fermin is the only thing that makes me a bit upset. I think that he picked an injury. I don't know how bad it is, but, he needed some help to leave the pitch the other day after beating Getafe. But anyway, Barcelona has more quality with the ball than Oviedo. We know about that. It's a team that always scores, normally a plenty, and I believe that they are going to beat Oviedo. I'm not too convinced about Oviedo. I don't really know what they are trying to do. And yeah, I think that Barcelona is going to win this game and they are going to score goals here because Oviedo concedes a lot, as I said. 27 saves for the goalkeeper this season already in only 5 games. So my favorite bet would be Asian handicap minus 1.5 for Barcelona. Barcelona winning by 2 goals. That pays 182. 2 goals or more. That pays 182. Otherwise, you can combine and do Barcelona to score over 2.5 goals and win the game. Barcelona to score over 2.5 goals, plain and simple, 1.9. So yeah, I think that one of those two would be good enough. I think Barcelona is going to win here.
Correct score for Omoyoma, 3-0, same as Real Madrid, and your tips will be correct. Ferran Torres, anytime goal scorer, safe bet, Barça to win, and David is throwing 𝐿𝐭𝐼 in 2007.
A midfielder, but a number 10, yeah, but I would agree, yeah, 𝐿𝐭𝐼 was a midfielder as well. I refer to more deep midfielders.
Well, it was a big surprise last season with Rodri harming Vinicius. We haven't seen Vinicius in 1 year after he didn't win last season's Ballon d'Or. Well, guys, on Friday we have another show of La Liga analyzing the Madrid derby and all the games we have at the weekend. Now it's time to remind you that you can post your tips in our website. We have our tipster competitions going on and you can win this money, $1,000, thanks to the monthly or yearly tipster competitions. You can read the terms and conditions there. And also Rivals, create your own tipster league with your friends and just test yourself how good you are. Alvaro, let's go to back-to-back ACCAs. Come on, first safe bet.
Atletico to win, 156.
And the ACCA?
Atletico to win, Asian handicap -1 for Barcelona. Athletic de Bilbao to win. Altogether 316.
Let's go for back-to-back wins in the ACCAs in La Liga. Alvaro, see you on Friday. Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you.